trouble.
Yeah, my bad.
I was like, block, block, block.
Yeah.
Who are these people?
Yeah, it's me.
Reggie, how are you? Yana, are you staying on? I don't know how to kick you off. We don't need you anymore.
I'm gonna kick myself off. Reggie, have a great chat. Have
Good
a
to see you.
wonderful time.
For
Thank you
sure.
for everything.
Absolutely. Love y'all.
Bye,
For real.
Yana. Talk to you later.
Mwah. Ciao, ciao.
Reggie, hola.
What's good? Hola, ¿todo bien?
¿Cómo estás? We'll just do the
En este
interview in
momento,
Spanish. Use
un poco
everyone.
caliente. Huh?
I said, we'll just do the interview in Spanish and everyone will be confused.
People ain't ready for that.
No. Listen, everything that we're giving, I intentionally did not look into what's going on with you in Sedona. I mean, I know you and I had spoken about it months ago or briefly touched on it. I don't remember.
Right.
Because I wanted to have this conversation with you and be surprised, pleasantly surprised. I'm excited. First of all, excited that you are involved. First, I want to say welcome to everyone. Francis here with Yoga Love Magazine. And excited. You know, we've been around and we're always excited to share wellness and yoga and health, wellness, all things yoga with our community and broaden our community because we are national. Actually, we're international.
International, huh?
We're international, but we'll focus on national right here. Excited to have Reggie here. I will let Reggie go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, Reggie Hubbard, he, him, his, dialing live and direct from DC. I even wore a tie today. I haven't worn a tie in years. I know, right? Don't like. I'm gonna do a close up because this doesn't happen as often as it used to. But I'm in DC at a political event because you know that I do politics. I'm the yogi in politics, right? So I'm not a yoga teacher per se. I'm a yogi who teaches sometimes, who is political and all these other things. But involved with the Sedona Yoga Festival for the second year. Last year, I was one of the main curators. This year, we have broadened our programming lens to have a diverse team in all manner of speaking to make sure that we not only honor senior teachers, but honor all voices as we come together. Last year, our theme was Give It Up for Grace. And that was a delightful experience of softening a lot of yoga nidra, a lot of peaceful practices because we were re-engaging for the first time in years. Specifically since 2020 from the festival. This year, the theme has emerged to Imagine. And the dates are the end of April, so April 27th, I think. And the festival is not political. I'm political, right? So let's just get that straight, right? As a black man, so shout out to Raphael Warnock, but as a black,
let's give a shout out to Georgia. Thank
right?
For through.
Seriously, as a black spiritual intellectual. Political, my spiritual identity is my political identity, but on behalf of the festival, I'm part of the programming team to make sure that we have a broad, diverse array of not only voices, but experiences that offer the experience of yoga, which is more than asana. So we're looking to have a broad array of everything. And I'm part of a team of, I think, 5 that is lovingly putting together these applications so we can have a good experience.
I love it. So last year you were a presenter?
I was the curator.
Okay, of last year's festival. And so what's the difference between what you did last year versus what it is you're doing this year?
So last year, I basically was in a room by myself for several months and looking at a bunch of spreadsheets and working in tandem with one person to create the experience. This year, it's a bunch of us working together as a community, creating the programming, and we'll also have teaching responsibilities at the festival. So the difference is that last year was kind of not a one-man band because there's definitely a team, but from the programming perspective, I took on a big onus of that. This year it's spread across, and I'm just the lead of that team. So
I actually don't, and Yana's going to kill me. I did read an article that she sent us about the festival, but I actually don't know too much about the festival. So if you can, I don't know how many days it is and how it started and what's the intent. I mean, I know you said the intention actually or the goal this year. the theme, but if you can get into a little bit about the festival itself.
So the festival's been around since the early aughts, so like 2010. And it's designed to be a consciousness evolution. So basically, the focus of the conference is not just to get together and have kumbaya, it's to be purposeful and intentional using the opportunity of Sedona, the energetics of Sedona, and the broad experience of a variety of practitioners and teachers to have an experience of yoga and to lead towards the evolution of our consciousness, right? So rather than staying stuck, we know that yogic practice, spiritual practice is not meant for stasis, it's meant for evolution. And so it's creating the conditions to not only normalize conversations about evolution, but to spur people to get deeper into their growth. And the theme this year, Emerge to Imagine, is essentially talking about our personal responsibility for collective liberation. You know what I mean? As we re-engage, as we come out of this phase of the pandemic, like how can we as a community remember, I mean, because the coronavirus taught us that like, I breathe your air. You know what I mean? We are connected, and like me being like, I need to take care of myself. Nah, it doesn't even mean anything. Like what it means is that like, as I take care of myself from the abundance, I can serve you. And so how do we get people more focused on that and more living with the truth of yoga, as opposed to like the asana-centric notion of feel good vibes when times, it's not that times aren't good. I do believe good is coming out of these times, but it's forcing us to be tougher than we thought that we needed to be. And we can be tougher together from a loving space as opposed to rugged individualism, which is a methodology that is false.
And so is it a multi-day festival?
3 days.
Wow. And so does it has classes, let's say asana and
we have a little bit of everything. We have a little bit of everything, right? So there'll be Kundalini, like there'll be chanting, there'll be asana, there will be workshops on all manner of speaking. We have a abundance of riches with respect to who we are working with and choosing from, because we're last year was like the first foray back into it. Now we're back into our stride. So with that comes just a streamlining of processes and also an opportunity to do new things. So
I see Yana wrote here, what presenters are you most excited about? And before you say that, knowing you, I also want to add in how we all roll. I wanted to ask, what do you, in addition to what presenters are you excited about? What flavor do you bring to the festival?
Right. No, I appreciate that. So one is that I'm raw, authentic, and from the heart. You know what I mean? So one, and you and I've talked about this a fair amount. Like I don't buy the false choice that yoga practice, spiritual practice, and political practice need to be separate. You know what I mean? I believe that's a choice rooted in privilege. So like I bring like an organizer, an activist spirit, true karma yoga style. Karma is in like the work aspect of how we bring liberation to all people. I am a 6'2", 260-pound Black man in a world that does not look like me. So like I bring the authenticity of my experience, but also before I did any of this teaching stuff, I was a hardcore practitioner, right? So like I bring just a devotion rooted in my lived experience that has given me liberation, that I try and share with other people. Because, one of the things that is challenging for me sometimes is when people just view one of the 8 limbs of yoga and then make that the whole thing. Because for me, it's been all 8 simultaneously. And that has given me better physical health, better mental health, and most importantly, a elevation of my consciousness to be of service to other people, which is the whole goal of the festival. The other thing I'll mention about the festival is that there are pre-conference workshop and post-conference workshops so if you're a teacher, you can get your CEUs. If you are a practitioner that wants to try sound and Kundalini and like it's an opportunity for you to have different experiences of the broad array of yoga, as opposed to just like rocket and no shade on these things, but it gives you an opportunity to see all of it from master practitioners and senior teachers.
That's really good, because there were many times where I hadn't practiced one kind or one type of class, and to have festivals that allow us to kind of have a taste, because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't realize, and actually, and you and I have spoken about this in the past, you don't know what your body needs in that moment.
Right.
And so on that particular day, something is calling you, and you never thought, I never thought I would love yin and be softer restorative, because I was like, let's go hard. Right. And so realizing that my body was like, please slow down. Please stop. It's too much. Your energy is too high.
Right.
So who can I don't know if you're able to speak to any hints of, or if it's, what percentage will be there?
So we're in the process of figuring that out. I don't know if we have any signed contracts yet, but we should probably do another one in a month, right? Just because we by the end of this month, we will have like a broad array of all sorts of folks, right? So there are some, because we don't have signed contracts, I'm not really but that's also that's bad business. But it's all in process.
But the contracts are out.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you this, and they will be out by the end of the week. We're having a programming team meeting today. Again, and I want to mention that the beauty of working in a team is that, we all don't know everything, but we all know something. And so our collective somethings give us a broader opportunity to be of service to the broad yoga community. Because I think I did a good job last year, but I'm just one brother. You know what I mean? Right. And so I think I did a really good job. I normally don't talk about myself in these terms, but I did a great job. But this year, I think we'll do a better job in service to our collective, and it's in service to the theme as well. So Emerge to Imagine, reimagining what composing a yoga festival looks like. Who are the people that are part of the composition? To have a broader array of opportunities for people to showcase their talent. I mean, you asked me earlier, what sauce or flavor do I bring? I mean, I represent the new Jacks. I represent the new Jack. I bust onto the scene 2 years ago, took the mic and haven't set it down. You know what I mean? So I was talking to some friends in the meditation space, because that I'm equally yogic and hardcore Buddhist meditator. I was just with all due respect to your hushed tones, I'm a hip hop kid. You know what I mean? So I might curse sometimes, but it's still rooted in Vedic understanding. I've read the Dhammapada, you know what I mean? I've read these things. I just choose to express myself in the vernacular of my generation, as opposed to just speaking like this and trying to be a monk. We're not monks. We're in the world. So how can we live in the world with these practices, as opposed to putting them on a pedestal and then taking them down when it suits our needs?
And the good thing about working in a team, and Yana wrote, festivals are a lot of work, and definitely we all know, on this end, putting Soul Fest together here.
Yeah, for sure.
What was I going to say? About different voices, right? Even with the magazine, recognizing that we are we're a team of women with different lived experiences.
Yeah.
Right. So with you working with a team, now it's important for you to be seen, but it's also important for the collective to have a voice and input into. That's why it's so important that first of all, we represent people of color. So it's okay, we definitely want our voices heard. Mm-hmm. Right. But we're not trying to leave out other voices in the fight that we had to make in order, especially within the yoga space, to be seen. It's really nice for me personally to see you leading that, because it means that, Sedona, thank you, is starting to, is listening to our voices.
Right. Yeah, and I want
to, the collective wants to be heard, the entire collective.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Heather Cherie, Sanders, who is the proprietor of Own Base, which produces the festival. She and I, she's a good friend of mine, and she and I had conversations last year when I came to be a part of it about that. So she has been intentional about who she chooses, and so I thank her for not only giving me the platform, but knowing that me being on the platform is not only in stewardship to BIPOC communities, but it's in service to humanity, right? Through this skin, I speak for all people, through my experience, through my words, but this, I teach everybody, and I represent everybody. part of my political work is like I would have to represent everybody. So I view that also in the context of the Sedona Yoga Festival, is that I represent all people, all perspectives. I may not agree with them, but that it's not my job to like do this. It's my job to be like, you know, to practice discernment, to practice self-study, to practice those sorts of things.
And we need that. We need that, especially today, right? We need to have these conversations. We need to listen and have the freedom to speak and share. Yeah. But with also listening on the other end of that. Yana wrote here, who inspires you in the non-yoga world? I'll let you go and I'll have a moment to think about that.
Yeah, so who inspires me in the non-yoga world? I love all people who have the guts to try something new, right? You know what I mean? I believe that, like, in this moment, right, you know, because you know this, like, for my personal practice, active peace yoga, I'm inspired by Prince and Jimi Hendrix, like, you know.
This I know.
Wild-haired black male creatives who basically didn't give a damn about social norms, but like gave like rise to the creativity that's latent to African culture, right? So like that's what inspires my teaching practice. But people who look at this moment, even with the fear, and dive into the beauty of creativity are who inspire me. So people who the habit that was cultivated during the pandemic, that they're like launching a business on, or like the people who are trying to reimagine what their relationships look like, not romantic relationships per se, but is there a new way of engaging? I mean, my old school, I was on a panel recently and someone was like, who are your role models? I was like, y'all know for me, it was Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, you know what I mean? And Nat Turner, like cats who were like, look, slavery's BS. I ain't gonna abide by this. I'm gonna break your rules because it's not in service to my humanity. Like, so those are the type of people who, not people who tear it all down, but people who are like, look, this is unjust. And from a loving lens, here is what I offer as a new perspective and new viewpoint. So writ large, people who are doing something new in this important moment where old ways have gone away. And, you know, we see a lot of people, not only in yoga spaces, but writ large, they basically are rushing back to some things that they feel comfortable in, but those are an apparition. They're gone. You know what I mean? The norms that you're comfortable with, those lifestyles, the pandemic severed that, right? And so like we have to reconsider the way that we are engaging with one another because circumstances require that.
It's very true, because I find that after, especially being in New York, I think we had an entire different experience than a lot of the country, being completely shut down and going back to physical practice, right? Just the physical practice has been a challenge for me.
Absolutely.
It's been a challenge because my mind and my body, although it didn't physically do a lot of moving around, I was home all the time, meant there was a lot of mental work in kind of understanding this new place and being able to slow down in my body, and my mind just wants something slow. It likes to work out in a physical workout sense, but other than that, it doesn't want, like, it's been challenged to get into like a challenging asana practice, because I recognize that where I am right now is just slow down. And I think it is as a result of everything that's been going on around us.
Yeah.
Right. And then also the reopening.
Right.
And if that speaks of where a lot of us are in this, recognizing the things that we were just living. And if the pandemic taught us anything, it was like, well, what were you doing? Well, how were you living? Was it in keeping with who you are? Did it speak to who you are, who you were before? I don't even feel like I am that person. Right. So willing to take, and in my own response to the question about who inspires, the reality is, of course, I'm inspired by all these people who took the courage to do so many great things, but I'm also inspired by the people who are willing to change. Yeah. Recognizing that where they were is not where they want to continue going. Right. So this pandemic, kind of coming out of it, is where I feel like I'm still coming out of it here in New York. Right. Is I don't want to go back to the old normal. Right. And so my question would be, there was all this talk, especially in the beginning of the pandemic, about the change within the yoga culture. Yeah. And the yoga community. So now, where are we? Because I have not been to a physical, because we've had a lot of studios closed. It's a whole different
It's a
situation
thing.
here in New York.
Yeah.
But what are we, with festivals, right? How important it is that our voice and the collective is shown and the collective is able to speak and have a voice. So I'm glad to see you, because one thing I know is wherever you are, that means that there's going to be representation. This I know. If Reggie's showing up, that means that somebody said and somebody recognized, we want to show a fuller experience. And I love that. Yeah, Yana wrote, we awaken from our sleep, from our slumber, and changes dramatically a positive way. Absolutely. So I'm excited to have a festival in this new post-pandemic, allegedly post-pandemic, but that is going to be reflective of all of our voices and bring that conversation back. Or you know, like it didn't just stay in 2020 of representation in yoga and wellness, that we're still 2 years later showing up.
Two things I'll say. One is that, you know, what Yana said about we emerge from our slumber, like that's the theme. So like emerge to imagine is that like we were under this fog by circumstance. And as we like break through the clouds of the fog, we have to imagine, we have to reimagine how things are, right? So, you know, I don't know if you knew this because I've been kind of quiet on my stuff, but like I taught at Kripalu a couple of weeks ago.
No, right?
You know, yeah. So I taught at Kripalu on campus. Like I've been teaching at these other places. So I believe that there are voices, and for those that are about this life, I'm here to support them. I've said that to Kripalu. I've said that to other places. You know, Sedona as well. I was like, if you are about the work of inclusion and representation, I got you. Like if you're not about it, look out. Right? Because
watch your back.
Yeah, well, and also watch your front, because you know, like I come at this with an activist heart, because like I'm not gonna like I'm gonna get in your face and just be like peace and blessings. Yo, if you're about like inclusion, where is it? You know, what does that look like in all the ways? So like orientation, economics, body type, and I mean that's another thing too that we try and work on in the festival. There are going to be chair yoga classes. They're going to be yoga for seniors. It's going to be the entire whole like teachers from like 70s and 80s to new jacks like myself to younger folks. Like, so it's going to be a broad array of the full experience so that we can truly see that yoga is for everybody and everyone.
I love it. I'm excited. So what we'll do is somebody wrote here in closing, speak to how they can follow. Hi, Stephen. They can follow you. Where can they follow both you and the festival?
So I'm at Reggie Global. So OREGGIE Global.
And one thing also, we'll tag Reggie on once we finish this. We'll tag him on the comments.
And Sedona Yoga Festival is at Sedona Yoga Festival, or SedonaYogaFestival.com. So please take a look. The prices go up at the end of the month. And the other thing, that there's scholarships too. So like if you get sticker shock, I mean, we try and be very conscious about like affordability and those sorts of things. And there's a necessity to like break even, right? You know, so like there are scholarships. There are opportunities to experience the festival. We're looking at ways of doing it online to share the experience, because there'll be venues and conversations that we hopefully can broadcast to other people. But in addition to not only seeking different participants, we're seeking different opportunities for accessibility. So are there ways to broadcast this stuff out? Are there ways to have meaningful conversations that aren't just in the bubble of the event? They can be put out, because consciousness evolution can happen on campus, because we know this from the pandemic. It can also happen through these devices, that if we can use technology in a way that serves our collective understanding as opposed to our collective numbing, we're all better off for it.
Yeah. So what we'll also do is, because I do want to speak of the lineup, but we can do that, you know, we'll get together and find another day to speak at a time where you think it's good to share the information, and we'll come back together and have some talk about the specifics of the festival.
Yeah, for
sure. I'm excited. Please, everyone, follow follow Sedona Yoga Festival and Reggie, of course, and find out more. We can always use, you know, we're in this together. And so it really is about the collective. And so if everyone just shows up and show support, we can keep these festivals, because as I know, and Reggie, you know, putting together a festival is a lot of work, and nobody's getting rich. So let's be real, right? So this is real work that we all do from the heart, So
And
does anything else you can close this out, Reggie?
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Like, and to that end, like, we do this in community. So I want to give a shout out to like Heather and Danny Pomplume and Indy Rishi Singh and Aru, the programming committee, Johanna Beekman, also on the programming committee. I want to thank them for the camaraderie. I want to thank y'all for the work that you do. Like, I still think fondly of the photo shoot that we had down the street here in Washington. That was a great moment before my jet-setting ass had to fly to Denver for something, right? Like, love y'all, and I gotta go. Like, who is
You're
this
right.
guy?
I'm
like,
here to support. I love y'all my piece, but I gotta go. I have my bag with me.
Yo,
and my bag. What else do you need, right? A pack bag and some yoga clothes and a mat. I gotta go.
Seriously. Yeah, no, I'm just grateful for y'all's work in the world. Like, however I personally could be supportive of you, you know, I got that. And yeah, this conversation, I look forward to the next one where I can actually share some details. But I promise you that, like, by the end of this month, the names will be on the website, and then the next time we talk, hopefully in January or something, then I can be like, and this person's comment, and this, and this, and this, to get people hyped up for the experience.
Okay, cool. I'm excited. Thank you, Reggie. Go kick some ass over and continue to kick. I can't imagine how the energy is over there, so that's good for today.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, take care. Love you. Sending you love and all well wishes, and we'll talk to you next time.
Received in return. Love and grace.
Bye.